Well, my daughter and I are going to do a project inside since it's really cold out. We're going to make a test box for electricity, and we're going to be able to use it to plug a meter in series to test amperage, test it with a clamp meter, test voltage, have stuff plug in. So that's a little circuit diagram. And we are going to go ahead and throw this together, aren't we, Rowan?
Yep, and bye-bye.
It's not going bye-bye yet. We still got to do the whole video and make it.
Oh, wait.
The first thing we did was we took our box and took a couple of the 3/4 inch knockouts out. It's the combination box, has both 1/2 and 3/4 inch. And in those two spots we put some 3/4 inch chase nipples or bushings. And then Rowan, she got some of my spare wire untangled, and we're gonna make 10 loops with that through here. Do you know why that is?
Because we're making a box.
Yeah, but the loops, we're going to do 10 loops, so if we put the clamp meter around 10 loops, it multiplies the amperage times 10. Or we can just take 2 loops and it doubles it, or we can just take 1 and it measures just the amperage without multiplying it.
Yeah.
Now that I have 10 loops outside here, I'm going to take one side of this and connect it to this outlet first. Well, this is the neutral side, longer slot, lighter color. This is the hot side, line 1, darker colored screw. There's this little tab right there. I'm going to remove that, and what that does is it isolates these two outlets from each other. If you leave that in, you hook one wire to it, they both work. But if you remove that, you have to hook a wire to each side to get each individual one to work. So I'm going to remove that, and then the loop will go to the top. And we're going to do something different with the bottom, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. One more thing, I'm using stranded wire, so I'm going to use a crimp-on terminal to go onto this. If you're using solid wire, you just bend a hook and go. If you're using stranded wire, you either have to solder it on the end to keep the strands from coming apart, or use one of these. I mean, you can put stranded wire underneath one of those screws, but it's kind of poor workmanship. The next issue is actually getting the outlet into this raised cover. You have to take the ears off. These ears are used for mounting into drywall or different kinds of boxes, but I don't need it. So I'm just taking those off. There's little lines here where you can snap these individual ears off, which you can use these as spacers if your box is crooked to level an outlet out. And then there's a line right across there if you want to take the whole thing off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then remove the screws so that I can install it in here. Okay, now we've got that little tab taken out of there. We've got our one end of our loop attached to this top part of the outlet, and I did kind of screw up and broke too much out of there, so you got to actually be careful when you pull these things off, but it'll be fine. That gets a washer and a nut on it anyway. But we're going to go ahead and continue on. Next step, we're going to put the cord into this. So for that, we're just going to use one of these connectors. You can actually get a cord grip to hold it. These are a lot cheaper and work just as well. Make sure it's rated for it. Also, this is a 15 amps outlet. We've got 12 gauge wire here. We're going to have 14 gauge wire coming in. 14 is the minimum. You do not want to take a cord off a lamp that's 18 or 16 gauge and run that in here, because that's not enough wire gauge for all the 15 amp stuff you're going to be plugging into it. And also, we have a 15 amp plug that we're going to put on the end of it. You going to put the cord in?
Yeah, no.
What?
Because y'all let me help with easy breaks, Dad.
Should I teach you how to do it? And all the people watching? Okay, let's do that. Okay, we've got our cord installed, and if you'd like to see how to put cord ends on, I have another video for that. It goes through our connector. Neutral goes up to this side, and I notice I still have the little tab in between the two because I don't want to run two individual wires. There's no need. Ground is going to the outlet, and that's going to effectively ground the box. Now if you wanted to get really picky and do this right, you'd have to take this green to a wire nut and have one wire go to the box here and then one wire to the outlet here. But This is grounded through the yoke. The yoke touches the box. It also touches the cover. It'll all be grounded well enough. So what we need to do next is wire the bottom half of this outlet, and to do that I've got this terminal block here out of some old project I ripped out. We're going to have line in, and then this side's going to go to the outlet. So this is going to bypass the loop, and what we're going to use this for is the meter is going to go from here to here and be part of the circuit to measure current. Alright, the inside is basically done now. We've got power in off the cord going to one side of the loop, and then that goes to the top outlet, and then the other wire that's connected to here is going out just out into nowhere right now, but this right here goes back to the bottom outlet. So what we need to do is insert a meter into here, and we're going to do that with this block. But we've got the inside all done, so we're going to go ahead and close that up. Once you get the cover on and you get your terminals on your block here attached, you can go ahead and put this down however you want. You can screw it down or hot glue or double-sided tape, whatever you want to adhere that. I've built several of these and used hot glue, and you know, it's not coming off, so there's no real need to go any more than hot glue really, because you're just going to put a meter under there. So that's the box. We can test amperage with a clamp meter or a digital multimeter. We can check voltage, all kinds of stuff. So in another video I'm going to show you how to actually use this, but this is the video on how to build it. One last thing, as for cord length, you can do it as short as, you know, putting a plug right here, whatever you want. I'd suggest 6 foot. That's kind of a standard cord length for appliances, but you can make that any length you want. Depends on your workbench situation, or if you're going to be using it around the house or whatever. But now we can see how much load there is on extension cords, power strips in the house, all kinds of stuff. So check out my other videos for that.